Praise God. My name is Elizabeth Saidimu, the founder and president of Heaven Light Ministries, located in Nairobi, Kenya. I want to share with us some experience that I had with the Lord. The Lord came in form of a house girl and lived in my house. And as he told me that he was preparing me and training me because of his children. And he told me that he was going to use me to clean his children. Actually, before that, I had seen in a dream somebody driving a small car, a Beetle, and he asked me for direction. But I was trying to explain to him the direction of where he wanted to go, and he told me, why don't you just get inside the car and show me the place? And I remember I was walking with my children to church, and I'm like, but I'm with my children, how, and your car is only for 2 people. He said, no, just come, just get in. Something very interesting, that when the Lord appears, everything seems to be okay, even when you think you're doing things that are way beyond. So I got inside this car, and as he's driving, my children were walking faster than the car was moving. He gave speed to my children, and on the dashboard, I saw a letter addressed to me, and I took it and read. And that was my appointment letter. He told me that he wanted to use me to reach his people. And out of that, then he started showing me what I need to do. So when this girl that was in my house as a house girl, yet it was Jesus himself, was we were, casting out demons out of her. And then suddenly the Lord told me, I want to show you where she is. And he took me to the first basement, or first chamber. When we got there, I found coffins, many, huge, many, huge compound, huge place. I'm talking about almost half the surface of the earth. There were coffins. And he told me to begin opening those coffins. And for every coffin I opened, I found at least 2 or 3, up to 4 people. And I continued opening those coffins. And I got to one coffin, and that girl was in that coffin. So he showed me, I took these people, the ones that I had removed from these coffins, and my girl was also among them. And as the Lord was leading us, then we got to another place that looked like earth. And he showed me a small tent, or rather a tent. And as I'd like to describe this using my book so that it's easy to understand, for us to understand. This part here is hell, and this other part is earth, and this is heaven. So I remove the children from hell, bring them to earth, and then take them to heaven. This is something that he showed me how to do, and it's something that I do every time unless I'm traveling. And this is a place where our relatives, our friends, our children are locked up, this area. So I will take us through the floors, the basements, and what happens in every basement for us to understand. And what I'm saying is that your loved one, that daughter, that husband, that wife, most likely they are in here. And I am telling you with confidence that almost every family has someone in here. Some even have more than one. These people are people who have lost sense of direction. It could be your brother, you went to the same school, and you are able to take care of your family. He is married. He cannot take care of his family. He is just there. And everybody has to support him. And sometimes you come in as siblings and you talk to him and say, what is the problem? He says, well, give me some money, I start a business. And you go in, you contribute and start him the business. And I can tell you, you bear me witness, it doesn't last 6 months. It's done. He is not able to do that business. You get him a job. And let me tell you, before 4 months, 5 months are over, the guy is out of job. And he is a problem, he's the biggest problem in the family. Nobody knows what to do with them. I tell you, the Lord knows. And that's why I have this information that is going to help us to get these brothers out of this mess that they are already in. So the Lord took me, and these people, as I was coming up with them, we came to that tent, that big tent that I showed you from the book. I got them, he led me, and we got inside that tent. And in the tent, they are tied with a ribbon on the waistline. This ribbon, the Lord ties them, is actually the glory of the Lord. It's not something tangible. And so from there, we walk. He showed me the stairs. We take the stairs and walk and get to the river of blood. And in this river, now this is the place. Remember the appointment letter? This is the place where I wash these children. When I talk about children, I'm talking about God's children. So some of them could be as old. So I wash them with the blood of Jesus. I washed them. The first incident, I want to share the first time that this happened. I washed them, and then we walked over and found Jesus waiting for us. Jesus received us, and what I did, and he showed me, I kind of paraded them. I paraded them, and he came and blessed these people. And all of them went back home. After that event, I also came back home. And I found my girl, now not fighting me, not holding the kitchen knife, but just seated. I asked her, where were you? She told me, I was in hell. I said, how did you get there? She told me, I was praying. Some people came and told me to stop praying. And I said, no. And so they carried me and took me down. And while I was there, I was in a coffin, and we were 4 of us. I suddenly saw the coffin open, and I saw you there with 2 people dressed in white. So she described everything that had happened to me. She described what I saw. Then she said, we were so many of us, and you brought us to this place. You took us to a tent, and we were tied with a ribbon, and then we walked some stairs, and we came to the river of blood, and at the river of blood, you washed us. And there were angels there also, washing, helping you to wash. And then we came out, and when we came out, we found Jesus. You paraded us, you put us on a parade, and Jesus blessed us and told us to go home. That's why I'm here. I found that very strange. I really found it strange. I said, what? She told me the whole thing. Everything that I had seen, she had seen. And so from that day, I continued going to that first basement. I went to that basement for a number. Remember, this took 3 years. I went there for a number of, I think it was more than a month. In the first basement, there's a tree plantation. There's so much activities in the first basement. There are people planting trees. There are others harvesting trees, and there are those manufacturing these coffins. There's so much activity in this place. And these activities are done by your sons and your daughters, those that you think that you have them in the houses. Those that are causing you problems. This brother of yours that is a drunkard, he is not there. He is busy doing coffins. So they manufacture the coffins, and then the coffins now, then they cause deaths to happen, and they do all sort of things, and they take live people. They lock them into those basements. They lock them into those coffins. Once they do that, they begin, they just torment them. People are tormented. I tell you, your brother, as you make noise for him that you become useless, you're not doing what is expected of you, your own son, your daughter, they're not there. They're in those coffins. They're in those coffins. And so when the Lord was talking to me about cleaning his children, that's what he meant. He meant going there, removing them, washing them, bringing them up to heaven, and then cleaning them and having them go back, as I've explained what happened to this girl. Now in the second basement, people are chained. You know, there are these bars that are big bars that are, these people are locked up in this place and they are chained. The only thing, they're beaten up. Demons just come and whip them and beat them. These people are so tormented that when I went there, I moved out from the first basement and I went to the second basement, I found these people. And the Lord was, with me and helping me to open up the bars and unlock the chains and get as many people from this second basement up to the same. We took the same route. The same route is going to be repeated for every basement. What I've said, that we go to the tent, we have them tied with that ribbon, and then we go up, we find the river of blood, we have them washed, and then I take them before the Lord, and we parade them there, and the angels are always with me. Then the Lord blesses them and they go to their places. So in the second basement, we find people locked up in those bars. You can see them even from the outside. The third basement, as I got there the first time, it's a place where you can't even tell that there are people, because there are walls that are like off-white, and you look around, it looks just like any other room. I was not able to see anything. But as I stood there, this is the first time, as I stood there, doors started emerging from the walls, and out of those doors I was able to open and see the people in there. Again, these people are just tormented. They are frustrated. They are harassed. And the Lord tells me, these are people alive, yet they are like dead. And from the experiences I've had, I've met people now that have come out of these places. I have met people that had been lost for this, and that's why you hear that children run away from home and they do all sort of things. When you hear they run away from home, it is not that child, it's something else. So the third basement, it's the same thing. People are, the demons are, people are tied, are chained, their legs, some of them have chains on their necks, and they're just suffering. Then in the fourth basement, the fourth basement is where I found women in big halls, and these women are being raped by demons. And they're being raped by demons. These women, they're frustrated. They're in so much pain. They're in torment. My friend, your daughter, your wife could be experiencing this. And let me tell you, I tell you this with confidence. I have had to counsel women. I have had to counsel women that have been, they tell you that I'm raped at night. They tell you that. So when I talk about these things, they happen in the physical, they happen in the spiritual, and these people are in this fourth basement. Women, being raped by demons. And let me tell you, if your wife or your daughter is in this basement, they cannot, if it's your wife, she cannot be a wife as expected. She cannot manage a marriage because of what she goes through. And most people don't understand what is happening. That's why we have a lot of people, we just break up. Either the wife or the husband is in this place. So this fourth is where we have these women. And you know, when I went there, I felt so bad. I have this information, all of it in details in my book. I went to the fifth basement. And in the fifth basement, men are being sodomized by demons. Demons are just messing up with people. And I remember one time I went there, and one huge demon came to me and said, "What do you think you're doing?" They said, he told me, "We also have a right to enjoy ourselves." So that's the fourth, the fifth basement, where men are being sodomized. I will say this again. If your husband is in this basement, my friend, you don't have a husband. You will, and you know it. You may not speak about it. You don't have a husband. Look for me. I help you get your husband back, because that's what I've been trained to do. Then in the sixth basement, there's a huge machine that graters the human beings, you know, like making them into mincemeat. And once that is done, they are fed to a demon, a female demon, who is a skeleton. And so all that, the body, all the mincemeat of human beings is given to this demon. And that's what that demon does, day in, day out, just feeding on that. And let me tell you, even after the demon feeds on that, the people just get back. They're still human. They're still human beings. And so you can imagine, if you have a relative that is going through this, they need help. They need help. And God has provided for this help. But it's become a bit difficult because people, some of these things are very deep to even understand. And some people, I know there are people who are going to listen to this and they'll say that is trash. But I can tell you, you say whatever you want to say, but I'm telling you, your daughter, your son, they are in there. That's why they're experiencing the problems. I've talked to people and they tell me their sons have gone to, I don't know, like even 4 universities, never finishing school, because they're not there. So that's the sixth basement. The seventh basement, when I got there, I found a huge, as I was landing, as you know, like I'm coming from up, I'm landing now, I found a huge snake, big one, a big snake. And I told the Lord to just hold me up. So he held me, I prayed and called fire on that snake, it burned. Then I was able to access the people who are locked up in these small like cells kind of, but the leaders are hanged. Most people there are hanged upside down. Either you are hanged upside down with chains, or you are hanged, you're suspended. You know, your legs are there, your hands, you're suspended. And that's how you live. Friends, if you have somebody living in that situation, that's the seventh basement. So most people are hanged and they are locked up. Then I moved to the eighth. I'm just going through this in a very simple way. I went to the eighth basement, and when I got to the eighth basement, I found this same snake. But this snake now is wounded. It has a big cut at the back. The blood is just flowing. It's like a river. And again, the Lord, remember, I'm going to this place after maybe a month. I would finish 1 month training, going through these different places. The eighth basement, as I got there, there's this big snake still, but it's wounded. It is so wounded, it cannot, so the Lord, I still asked the Lord to suspend me again so that I could pray and get this snake out of the way. As I got to the eighth basement, I find people in containers like an elevator, but it is twisted. So you can imagine you are twisted like a cloth, and that's where you live. That's your condition until help comes. Until help comes. And sometimes even when I went, even as I would go and find these people, even when help comes, they don't understand, they don't know, they're just there. Then from there, I moved to the 9th basement. And in the 9th basement, people are locked up in chest of drawers. You know, drawers, it's like the way we see in the monks. Drawers have like so many people packed like clothes in the 9th basement. And in this basement, these people don't even talk. I mean, they are put on top of each other. So you know, I was able to just give instructions for those drawers to be open and get those people out and take them to. We go the same process as I shared on the first that happened in the 1st basement. That's the 9th basement. The 10th basement. Demons are just having fun. They have big pots boiling oil, and they will pin the people. They pin them and put them in that oil, and they have a lot of those pots, and they're just having fun with that. They're pinning them with this kind of forks and putting them. One pot can hold like up to 5 people, so they defry them and throw them out. And these people are going through torment, really serious torment. And so from there, the Lord moved me from the 10th basement to the 11th basement. In the 11th basement, you just want to cry. You want to cry. It is painful. I found demons feeding on children. I mean, children are locked up in big stores, you know, like halls, and they are brought little ones like from those that can walk maybe up to 2 years, and they will be put on the table, and demons would feast on them like the way we feed on chicken. They'll just, the first thing those demons would do is to push their hands, their long nails into and remove the heart of the child and start with that. When you see in movies these people acting with you know, the demons showing with a lot of blood of their chest, that's exactly what you see when you go there. They feed on this. They feed on these children. Then they start now cutting their hands and the legs and, you know, the thighs and the head, and just eating the whole thing. Then after that, babies are brought and others are brought, and so many babies. That day, the first day I went there, I remember a whole 1,000 little babies. In fact, as I was walking with the first lot, they continued walking, following me. And when we got to the tent, there were so many. They were tied, and we went, and we went the same process. And now we get to the 12th basement. The 12th basement is where you meet Lucifer himself. That's where he resides. And he sits in a very, you know, in a chair, and he has a screen right in front of him. And that screen is able to see what's happening on earth, is able to see what pastor is doing what, and is able to see which church is doing whatever they are doing. And he's able to, if he sees somebody, a pastor that is weak in this area, is able to convince and send his demons, who go and woo that pastor, pull them. Many a times, as the Lord has taught me, pastors will be pulled and be offered money, because that's basically one of the main problems that church leaders have, because they have so much work they want to do and they don't have the money. And so, because some of them don't work, they're in full-time ministry, and the ministry is not bringing in money to be able to do the assignments of God, and so they get wooed very fast. He told me that most ministers will fall because of money, because of women, and because of pride. And he told me no one is exempt from that. And so that screen will show, the devil is able to see and know who is doing what, where they are, and is able again to know their weaknesses. If it's a man and he's a womanizer, the devil is able to organize and get a lady to come and begin causing this man to sin. And eventually after that, you can't now minister anymore. That's why we have so many pastors that are doing all sort of things that they don't know. They are also victims, and immediately they get into this mess. And then now the whole congregation is so drained. The Lord says this information must get out so that as many people can be helped, so that these pastors that are suffering like this can also be helped. So he watches that screen day and night, and his demons are so effective. When they are sent, they come because they don't have hands. These are spirits. They come in, get inside people, and they cause people to do the things they do. Now, when the demons are sent to, for instance, kill someone, they come and they enter someone, an innocent person who has an open door. This person goes and kills, and immediately they kill, the demon goes to report that we have finished. This guy just wonders what he has done. What does he do? He commits suicide because he cannot live with what he has just done. So he commits suicide. If he doesn't commit suicide, he's arrested. And let me tell you, he goes to court, he can't defend himself, he doesn't know what happened, and he's either, he's locked up for life. And that's what I'm telling you. All those people that are locked up in some of the cells, they have done nothing. These are innocent people. They have done, I know, because the Lord has trained me on this area and He's shown me. And these are some of the people that He wants us to rescue. That's why the Bible says, Jesus says, when I was in jail, you visited with me. Because He knows these people that are in jail are not necessarily criminals. They are there because the devil used them, and there was nobody to speak on their behalf. There was no one to exonerate them. There was no one. They suffered. If your brother is in jail for having done something that you can't understand, just know he is there because the devil used him. It's a mistake. And until we get rid of this thing, until we are able to fight the devil and get him under our feet, as the Bible tells us, we will continue suffering this. We will continue suffering this. So I'm inviting you to listen, because as all the messages I'll be sharing, most of them will be talking about how to hit this thing and how we can get these people out. So he's on that screen. And then he has can you imagine one of the walls, the wall on the left? The first time I went there, I'm talking about, let me just go back to the wall. I need to start. I need to start from when I went to that place. Okay, the first time I went to the 12th basement, I found this, it's the first time that I was really scared. I really got scared because as the Lord dropped me, I found this huge snake with his mouth open. The snake was like the mouth was inverted, like a fish, like the mouth of a fish, and then on the sides were growing snakes trying to engulf me. But inside the snake, I could see my girl. I was still going to rescue this girl because the Lord was training me. And these snakes were coming to engulf me. So I called for help, and the Lord sent 4 angels. 2 on my left and 2 on my right. 2 on my right and 2. And they had swords. So they were trimming those snakes and trimming them. And I was able to walk in. I'm trying to walk to rescue this girl, but the snakes are still growing. So the angels trimmed, and I continued walking, until finally when I was like getting inside now the mouth of the snake, the girl was swallowed. And I could, you could hear the noise like, running waters that ran. Then what happened was that she got to the tail after she was swallowed. Then the tail rolled up and came behind us, and one of the angels just cut the tail, and the girl was there. As I was trying to get her, a very thick net came from above and just rested on her, and she could not be. The angels had to help me to get out of that net. So I continued going to that place, and when I entered the mouth of that snake, the time that I managed to enter the mouth of that snake, the snake, the way the snake has segments, every segment is a door leading to a very huge store that as people that are being tormented and all sort of things happening. Every bone, you know the way the snake, I would go there and remove those people. I continued removing them. I continued removing these people until now the Lord took me to the place where the devil himself now resides. He sits on this seat and he watches this screen. And in that screen now, he is able to see what is happening. Where he's sitting, on the left-hand side, I used to see this wall, and this wall is like, it's like it's moving, and I'm wondering, until one day the Lord asked me, just pull out that curtain. When I pulled out that curtain, friends, I found that he has a wall made of human beings that sit on one another. You sit on the shoulder of one person and like that, making a wall. This is the devil. That's how he operates. They've made a wall. So this wall looks like it's moving because they get tired. And if you make a mistake of dropping, you'll be beaten. So every time I go there's that wall, and every time I remove it, he puts in another wall. That could be your brother carrying all those people, to form a wall. Then after that, there's really something like a curtain that covers that. And on this other side, on the right hand side, there's a big black gate door. The doors that we pull, and it's black. I'd never tried going there, but the Lord allowed me to go into that place. And I found this is a factory now where they manufacture also. It's a big place, a huge place. These people are busy working. They manufacture all sort of things. They do clothes, they do mobiles, they do all the things that that we have. They manufacture them there. And there's also in that same place there's a hospital that there are people who are fed with blood. They are instead of the drip now, they are fed with blood. So when the demons come, they need blood. There are people in that hospital that feed on that blood. And in this same place that is seated, right in front of him, are people that are put in the people are put in containers, small containers. It's like the way you see a mass choir. These people are locked up in those glass containers. And behind them, there's another huge there's another huge place where people are again still tormented. This is the 12th basement. This is where the devil resides. It is a bad place. People are frustrated. So the Lord would help me get these people out, remove the ones in those containers, and remove the ones who are working in the factories, and remove all these people and the ones in the snake, and all of them. I would take them with me. But what would happen? The following day, when if I went there, I would still find these people in the same position. He has put them like the CD, a CD changer. So immediately I deliver, I take these people out, he puts another CD. And this is something that he has packed over years. So it's a huge package. Those CDs, unless we all understand this thing and remove these people, it will take a long time. For one person or two people, it is all of us who are required. And that's why he gave me information. The Lord gave me written messages. And he would give me written messages on every topic, and especially about demons, how to deal with them. All these are books packed with messages. Like now this one has messages, a whole 85 pages. All this. I'm supposed to, this information, the Lord said, I want it out to the world. Give it to the world. This is handwritten information from the Lord, and he has told me to share it with the world. Friends, I've not been able to do this because this requires a lot of airtime, I've gone to our local TV to ask to see if they can allow me, but the figures they talk about, all these are handwritten messages. I only have a few. But these are real messages on different topics. But one of them, and most of them, are talking about rescuing those people. So even as I share with us, I would need, for me to be able to share this information, I would need to be able to be, maybe be on TV and share this information where it can get to most people. Like in my country, there are very few people that have access to YouTube, that have access that can be able to view this, unless now I speak on TV, either local TVs and that. And as I was asking, most of them are talking the range of 40,000 for 28 minutes. The information I have can take me like almost 10 years, even without having to repeat anything. So to give this information, it's very expensive. Now, another thing that I need to share with us, these are messages that are handwritten that I would like to read, to share with the world, to share with us. Again, the other information that the Lord has given me, this book you see here is full of text messages. This is just a diary that has messages from the Lord. He sends me text messages, and all these are messages that I should be able to, I'm hoping to compile them and do yet another book. I want people to know that when people ask me, how do you get a text message from God? And people are like, you mean Jesus can text? Excuse me, Jesus knows the mobile that will be there 100 years to come, 1,000 years to come. He is the one who has given those brains to the people that are doing our mobiles. So when you ask if we can text, let me tell you, to date I've received over 700 text messages from the Lord. And all of them are beautiful messages, giving me instructions, telling me what to do, and all this. And those ones, I'm hoping to be able to compile them and form yet another book so that we can read. But what is very key, friends, is that the information that the Lord has given me, which part of it I've put in the book that I showed you, is the information that I would like to have an opportunity, because that the Lord told me to share with His children. I would appeal for help financially, so that I can be able to deliver these messages to different people. And I can also train on how to fight and how to get these people, our friends, our relatives out. Next time I'm with us, I'll be giving details of how to get these people out. And with that, I would like just to say a prayer for us. And I also, before I get to the prayer, I would love to, people that are willing to partner with the Heaven Light Ministry, so that we can have this information out and get the ministry to do what the Lord is asking. I would like to ask you to partner with us, to partner with the Heaven Light Ministries, partner with me, and have the support that I need to be able to give this information. And I'd like us to pray. Let's pray. Father, in the name of Jesus, I want to thank you so much even for my viewer. I just want to speak special blessings in their lives, and I pray that, Father, even as they go through these difficult moments with their loved ones not present, my Father, I pray that they will be encouraged and know that you are God and you are able. And that's why you are releasing information from the devil even to us, so that we can make a change in our lives. We thank you and worship your holy name. In Jesus' mighty name, I pray and believe. Amen.